Hello all, a warm welcome as usual to the Vanarama National League Highlights Show. Hope you've all had an excellent Easter weekend. The action of course doesn't stop, all the day's stories to come. Chris Hargreaves will be alongside me shortly, hoping from my point of view that he'll keep those egg puns to a minimum. I'll be responsible for those, so let's crack on with the first roundup with who else but Richard Henwood.
In recent weeks, Torquay have been looking more and more like the team that dominated the early part of the season. They claimed their fourth win in 5 with a stoppage-time goal from Sam Sherring. It meant Wrexham had suffered their first home league defeat in more than 4 months, but the winning manager wasn't entirely happy.
You know, we've got a lot of talking to do, a lot of training to do, because I don't think we played anywhere near our potential, and yet we've come away winners.
A fourth road trip in 2 weeks for the league leaders Sutton, this time to Solihull, where the home side went for shock tactics right from kick-off. Kyle Storer's shot testing the concentration of Sutton keeper Dean Bazanis. And Bazanis was almost embarrassed in the second half as his clearance was charged down by Kyle Hudlin. It would have been a 4th successive league win for Solihull. Instead, Sutton returns home with another valuable point in the title race. Hartlepool's 12-match unbeaten run was quickly under threat at Boreham Wood, where Tyrone Marsh gave the home side a 5th-minute lead. But Boreham Wood are the league's draw specialists, so it was no surprise when 1-0 became 1-1 just 63 seconds later. Kevin Holohan with his 3rd goal in 3 games. But the scoring and the drama didn't end there. The home side restored their lead when Corey Whiteley won a challenge on the halfway line and then fired a shot past Hartlepool keeper Ben Killip. Killip's day was then cut short by injury, and with no other keeper on the Hartlepool bench, Richie Bennett came on as a sub, and forward Rhys Oates took the gloves. There was to be one more goal in the second half, conceded not by the makeshift keeper, but by Boreham Wood's Nathan Ashmore, and the scorer, Richie Bennett. Hartlepool had rescued a point, and Boreham Wood had drawn for the 9th time in 10 matches.
Well, we'll come back to Hartlepool's important point, certainly, but we should probably start with the long-time leaders, Torquay, because that's despite Gary Johnson's slight annoyance that they haven't played to their potential, those are 2 big wins over Easter.
I think it's a really good win today. I know that he demands a high standard of training and reaching your potential, but the reaction of the lads for that win tells a story there.
Yes.
And they look delighted.
Yeah. And then puts them back in it.
Yeah, it does, 6 points off. Can easily you just keep it alive there, don't they, the long throw. Sam Sherring on loan from Bournemouth, you know, a great moment for him, and the lads look delighted with that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a gentle kick up the backside to say, look, you've got more. Don't be satisfied with the fact that you've nicked 2 wins with late winners the last few days.
Yeah,
play to your potential is what he's saying.
That's right, and I think the fact that he knows it's achievable.
Yeah.
Perhaps because Sutton having a sort of not a wobble, but a spell where they're not winning every week, which they were.
Yeah.
So it's time for them to make the most of that opportunity, perhaps.
Yeah, getting back to where they were. Big point, obviously, for Hartlepool. Richie Bennett coming on because the goalie had to go off. It makes them 13 unbeaten. Big late goal, isn't it?
It's a great story, isn't it? That's the way to attack across.
Yeah.
Brilliant, yeah. And the bench going crazy. Great to see. Great moments in football they are. Really, really positive result, that.
Yeah, just a couple behind the leaders. Sutton, who obviously drew today. But right from the off, Kyle Storer of Solihull trying to put the leaders under pressure. How cheeky is this?
Very.
From the kickoff.
I know, if I'm receiving this, I'm going back to what? The keeper at the other end.
Exactly.
No, great effort. Really is. You know, good bit of vision.
Just those 3, would you say, for top spot, or can Stockport or one or 2 others still think about Notts County? You think maybe?
Yeah, I think, you know, they've got 2 games in hand essentially. Win those games, it'd be 5 points off, the closest. Can they do it? It's a big ask, but as we've seen, there's been a big turnaround in point swing with Sutton and Torquay, so it can be done. Yeah,
Sutton obviously drawing games, but they've got those 3 in hand over Hartlepool in particular, so it's still Sutton's to lose if they can carry on picking up points. If you
That's right. I mean, they're not having a really bad spell. They're just not winning relentlessly as they were. So, you know, I think the mood in the camp will still be positive. We're in a great position. We're getting points. perhaps not the wins we want, but you know, you've got to say they're in the driving seat still.
They are. Matt Gray's side obviously sitting pretty. But as mentioned, Notts County, we saw them win obviously on Easter Friday in front of the BT Sport cameras, and they've got an excellent record away from home. Obviously, Ian Birchnell taking over. Could they pick up more points on the road today? Here's Jake Watson.
Ian Birchnell got his first win as Notts County boss last time out and would have been confident of building on that at 18th place Woking. They'd have to do that without top scorer Carl Wootton, who missed today through suspension. Mark Ellis made sure he had his shooting boots on in Wootton's absence. Woking's troubles this season have been scoring goals. Only bottom side Barnet have scored less, but they had the perfect chance to get on the score sheet when they were awarded a penalty. Max Kretschmer squeezing it in to bring the home side back level. And maybe that was the confidence booster that Woking needed, as they quickly scored again, Sam Ashford finishing it off at the back post. But Notts County came out firing after the break. Whatever Ian Birchnell had said to his players clearly worked, as Jimmy Knowles capitalised on some less than convincing defending to race clear and bring the scores back level. Notts County have been great away from home in recent weeks, and just 6 minutes after going level, they were in front. Knowles with his second of the day, a very accomplished finish, but Woking the masters of their downfall once again. All the talk ahead of this one was how Notts County would cope without top scorer Carl Wootton. Well, he'll be sweating on his place in the side when he returns from suspension next week. Knowles scoring a 19-minute hat-trick to seal the win for the visitors. It's been a good week for Halifax, with manager Pete Wild signing a new contract. Booking a place in this season's playoffs will now surely be the target. And when Jamie Allen was hauled down after just a minute, it handed Halifax and Jake Hyde the perfect chance to take an early lead. Certainly wasn't the perfect penalty, but struggling Weymouth now with it all to do. But Weymouth have found some decent form lately, going into today with just one defeat in 4, and they were back level when Jake McCarthy headed home at the midway stage of the first half. But they weren't level for very long. From a corner, Neil Burns' towering header was nodded in by Tom Bradbury, just a couple of yards out to put Halifax back in front. Into the second half, and if Weymouth had been slow to get going in this one, then surely they wouldn't be slow out of the traps again. Well, just 2 minutes after the restart, Jeff King had plenty of time to pick his spot and give Halifax a 2-goal cushion. Into injury time, Jake McCarthy scored the pick of the goals, but his second of the afternoon proved too little too late. A game of very few chances was sparked into some sort of life when Maidenhead went down to 10 men, and the deadlock was finally broken in the 87th minute, Ben House scoring with his first touch to help end a run of 3 straight defeats for Eastleigh.
Big goal, and he is a big goal scorer, Ben House, for Eastleigh there, back in the playoff picture. As a Halifax, we'll come back to them, but Notts County, let's just touch on them, because obviously we watched them on Friday. As much as it was a big win, they lost Carl Wootton, didn't they, with the sending off? Yeah. So he's unearthed a little gem in Jimmy Knowles, it seems, Ian Birchnell.
Good replacement, that, isn't it? And the goals, the way he took these goals were absolutely excellent. Yeah. You know, different types of finishes as well. Just playing on the shoulder as well. You know, that you're always taught as a centre forward, staying between the centre half, stay on the shoulder all the time. And the finishes are really accomplished. You know, a little bit of composure, and that threat just to occupy. This one, sometimes you can rush these, you can panic, just slots it.
Not bad, a 19-minute hat-trick for a 19-year-old on loan from Mansfield, so he's got a league pedigree, the youngster.
He has, but a great moment for him. Yeah. And as I say, a good bit of business done there.
Seems so. An option for Ian Birchnell, and I think they got the tightest defence, Notts County, in the National League. 25 goals conceded. So, as you say, maybe top spot's not beyond them if they can.
No, they have
that kind of football.
Yeah, they have to win a lot of games for sure.
Yeah, they have got games in hand.
Win the games in hand, as we said, 5 points off. It gives them an outside chance, but that's what you want. You want a chance. You want something to aim for. And if teams are slipping up a little bit, why not them?
Yeah, well, why not, indeed. And I mentioned both Eastleigh and Halifax. Don't get a lot of mentions, maybe, in terms of promotion hopefuls, but they are both, those teams, quite hard to play against on a day.
Yeah, no, both good sides. Both managers done good jobs there. I think with Eastleigh, I think they'd lost a couple of games. They were, a bad run. So a really vital win there, just to keep in touch of that last playoff place.
Yeah, you cold enough, by the way?
What makes you think that?
Absolutely freezing. Honestly, one of those weeks where you're better off not being at a game. I know that sounds daft, but today it's true. After the break, we will see the highlights from the game here, though, at Edgeley Park. Stockport and Bromley, both of these teams still thinking very much about the top 7. Certainly Stockport in the top 7, Bromley under new management hoping to get there. We'll see the best of this one next. Welcome back to the Vanarama National League Highlight Show, and our next stop is right here. Stockport County up against the Bromley side, who changed their manager just less than a week ago. Andy Woodman is the new boss, picked up a point in a 2-2 draw on Easter Friday. Could he follow that up with something here at Edgeley Park against the side in Stockport, unbeaten in their last 6 under Simon Rusk? Watching for us, Adam Virgo and Adam Somerton.
It's Bridges pass wide, and they've got plenty in the box here. Deep delivery, and Southern Hales seem to get a touch on that, but it's a goal kick that's been given. Good header wide by Madden, played first time, which was a good idea, and Collar with the attempted cross. Maloney who came across to deal with him, but now it's with Rooney who's made the room for the shot. Back it comes again to Rooney once more, who has another go! And forces the save from Cousins.
He's always trying to get on that right foot of his and try and bend it into the goal. Good save there from Cousins, and again, it just does take a deflection.
That wasn't a great header back, and here's Cheek, the National League's top scorer. He's got Williamson in support, had to go alone, and they recovered pretty well there. Jennings came across from left back to make the block, but they were nearly architects of their own downfall there, Stockport. Home side dominating possession in the early stages of this second half. Jennings, Crowsdale, Walker. Crowsdale will hit one, and it was watched all the way by Cousins. Cardwell with movement wide here is Walker. Decides to go on the outside, Walker. Stands up the cross, and any sort of touch there, but it's the player rather than the ball that's ended up in the back of the net. Hales plays in, and Madden couldn't quite get to it. It's a brilliant header that. It was Kizzy who just got in front of Madden. Bridge. Oh, they've worked this nicely. Williamson, great play, but Bridgewater couldn't apply the touch, neither Cheek. But suddenly Bromley are starting to look a bit dangerous here.
They're posing questions now, aren't they, which they were certainly lacking in that first half.
Madden, knocked down by Cardwell, and Newby might hit this, he did, and he wasn't too far away. It was certainly worth the effort.
Good little play there from Newby, because he's just dropping deep there off Cardwell's little head down.
Newby. That's a good ball inside to Jennings. And Crowsdale! And well kept out by Cousins. What a chance that was to win it.
Better quality there from Jennings. Just a side foot shot there. But didn't really have too much of the goal to aim for.
So it's a point apiece then. 0-0 at Edgeley Park.
We were always searching today rather than actually, coming out of a crystal clear-cut chance. But I think we have to be pleased with how we arrived at that last third, because I thought some of the play excellent in the first half of how we arrived there. And, whether it was that final pass, final decision, a little bit of composure, wasn't quite there today. But listen, there was a lot of things that were very, very good about it.
The remit was a clean sheet. This is a tough place to come. They're a good team, got probably more riches than most of the clubs in this league. And our job was to get a clean sheet, and the lads done it, stuck to the task, was disciplined, and well chuffed.
All I'm concerning in is a group of players we have here who are giving everything, by the way. You know, their attitude is absolutely outstanding. You know, their desire, their will to defend and attack at the right times. I just want to get better. So, you know, I'll focus on what's in here. And look, we're 7 unbeaten, you know, on a great run, in a good place, playing against a difficult team today. So, you know, I'm feeling very positive about where we're at.
Simon Rusk taking the positives from a game that, Chris, didn't really catch fire, did it?
No, but he's absolutely right to do that. 7 unbeaten.
Yeah.
Some good wins in there, some really good performances. On some days you don't get the rub of the green, or you know, perhaps you're not hitting that form on any particular day. So, on reflection, he'll probably be pleased with another point on the board. For the away team, again, they'll be pleased.
Yeah.
Because it was a resilient, dogged performance. It wasn't pretty.
No.
But it doesn't need to be when you're taking on a new role like Andy Woodman is.
Yeah, indeed, that's right. Good-ish first week, certainly for him. But Stockport, as Simon Rusk says, got to the final third. They didn't quite, for the quality they have in individuals, didn't quite turn the key.
No, not really. A couple of bright moments in that first half. Inevitably, Rooney, a couple of chances here. The second one, really unfortunate, just tried to drift it past. Good save. Showed a little bit more patience in parts of the second half. Trousdale had a chance there. Just a little bit more endeavour. You know, you're hoping this is going to be powered in, but no one quite gets on the end of it. But none of it was gilt-edged 1v1 chances. It was just like this, half chances, snapshots. Whenever they did show a little bit of patience and a bit more creativity, they ended up getting a chance like that. Again, it's Trousdale, not his day today. No,
Certainly not in terms of taking one of those 2 good chances. And Andy Woodman, as you say, less than a week in charge, 2 creditable draws. I mean, goalkeepers don't get that many chances at management. Obviously, we've seen Tim Flowers in this division do pretty well. So good start for Woody.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and he's talking about bringing his own players in. He's also talking about galvanising a team and being hard to break down and coming to a team in form, and he's absolutely right. So it is a really good, positive week for him.
OK, our final roundup starts at Wealdstone, a team that had failed to score in 4 of their last 5 games, but then they welcomed Barnet to Grosvenor Vale today, and Barnet generally guarantee goals, often at the wrong end. Here's Sam Ashew.
Wealdstone had failed to score in 4 out of their last 5 matches, whilst Barnet had registered just once in their last 3 games. The deadlock was broken just 6 minutes in when Jerome Ikomu met Danny Green's corner. Good Friday saw Ryan Gondo's first goal for the club in a 2-2 draw at Bromley. After a Barnet error, the goal scorer turned provider here, sliding in Denon Lewis, his first goal in 7 games. Just a minute into the second half and the away side were back in it. Antonis Vasilou getting in behind the defence before teeing up Courtney Baker-Richardson. Game on. Baker-Richardson was, though, shown a red card in an off-the-ball incident shortly after, and his side were punished when substitute Craig Fasamande found space in the box. 2 minutes later, the points were wrapped up. Jacob Mendy brought down by Lee Vaughan. Mendy got up, dusted himself off and slotted home for 4. The Stones wrapped things up with some fine teamwork on 77 minutes. Lewis the scorer once again. So much for no goals. A fantastic 5 for Wealdstone. Kings Lynn were looking for back-to-back wins for the first time since November. It took until the 68th minute for things to get going here, though, when Michael Gash's shot was judged to have hit Toby Malarkey's hand in the box. With no Simeon Jackson in the side, spot kick duty was left to Gash himself, but he was denied by Tony Thompson. Not to be deterred, Lynn came straight back, and when Cameron King's shot was blocked, Cairo Mitchell reacted quickest to lash home for 1-0. Just 2 minutes later, another penalty for Lynn after another error from Malarkey, who brought down Mitchell in the box. The man himself stepping up this time. No Cairo, no party, said the Kings Lynn Twitter account. They might just have to make do with Zoom celebrations instead. Aldershot got off to the perfect start at Dagenham when Harry Panayiotu's cross hit Kenny Clark's hand in the box. Mohamed Betema stepped up and scored the Libyan international's first goal in 12 games. The shots were 2 up just 15 seconds into the restart. Fine work from Jermaine Anderson left Joel Nooble with an easy finish. That's now 3 defeats in 4 for Dagenham.
What a story Cairo Mitchell is, Chris, eh? Playing for Grenada in the World Cup qualifiers in the week against El Salvador. Nips back and goes and gets 2 for Kings Lynn.
As it goes, that's not a bad week, is it?
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Week at all.
I wouldn't mind a week in Grenada full stop at this.
We needed that today, by the way.
Wow, we did. Such a Grenada would go down well in Stockport. But anyway, Cairo Mitchell with 2. And Kings Lynn are playing, obviously, a number of, let's say, fringe players for financial reasons. A number of their senior players on furlough, which is understandable. They're up against it financially.
It's not a perfect scenario, but as ever with these things, it does give someone an opportunity. And for that, you've got to be thankful. It's not been easy for a lot of these football clubs, to be honest, Matt. You know, keeping the games on, keeping clubs afloat, very difficult in this period of time.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Obviously, the lack of jeopardy for relegation has allowed a bit more flexibility, and I think that shouldn't go unnoticed as well, that clubs need to be understood and managed as best as the league can.
Yeah, I mean, some teams this season, I cannot fathom it. I mean, when you look at Barnet, for example, you know, making the playoffs last year, having a really successful season to this season, it's been, you know, calamitous, really. For a club of that size in this league, so disappointing. Yeah,
and obviously we've lost Dover and Macclesfield, although, as we heard earlier, Macclesfield will be back in a new guise next season, albeit at a low level. So that's how things stand in the Vanarama National League. Sutton lead the way by 2 points from Hartlepool with games in hand. Torquay now with the 2 wins are back in that push for top spot, you would think. Stockport up to 4th with the point here. Notts County have had a good Easter as well. Chesterfield and Halifax make up the playoff places, but there are a lot of teams chasing the top 7. And as mentioned, no relegation at the bottom. Dover, of course, have been expunged their points from this season and will take the points deduction next season. Barnet and Kings Lynn make up a notional bottom 3 as things stand. So that's it for another week on the Vanarama National League highlights. Sutton lead the way, but there are a gang of clubs still thinking about promotion to the Football League. More clues next time. See you then.